the AIL 15 will be very much up for this in terms of what they want to do, in terms of putting a marker down for the Leinster A. It's a bit like probables versus possibles.
It is indeed, yeah. Should be interesting. Of course, we've seen plenty of Wesley boys on over the last couple of months. JJOD, Alex Malloy. It's great to see these guys get a chance. Absolutely.
Well, I get slagged about Alex Malloy, my man from Old Wesley, who I've watched on 6 or 7 occasions this season, but he's been star quality for Old Wesley, and of course JJOD. But I think the makeup of the team is going to be very interesting to see how they gel as a unit, and I think if they do, and I'm sure they're going to be up for it because they have nothing to lose against the Leinster A team. It's interesting too to see, you know, the names like Luke Thompson, who I think was originally Old Wesley, now of course Leinster, and Harry Noonan, and the array of talent that's on view, and they'll want to make a mark tonight, I'm sure, Stuart.
Yeah, they definitely will, and of course, as you said, plenty of guys in that final last week are playing tonight. You know, Harrison Brewer, Cormac Daly, to name a few. So it's great to see these guys, you know, what are we, 5 days past playing a big final, back out there in a big opportunity for them all.
Well, the one thing that I think has been remarkable has been the whole quality of this AIL campaign, right through all the divisions. And when you consider who's actually been promoted, invariably, like if Queen's University have lost out to the Buccaneers, I can see you shaking your head there, Stuart.
That hasn't spoken to me in days, but yes, go ahead, Al. Why not? Way to bring it down,
well,
but yes.
If we want to take things right to the level of where we were at some 2 weeks ago when Wesley lost to Naas in a similar position, in the league, Blackrock beating Greystones, of course. It's been a thrilling AIL campaign, and I think it was capped off. I was there in person myself, a most wonderful AIL Division 1 final where probably in the end the better team won in Clontarf, but Terranure put up such a fight, and it was a thrilling time to be there as a celebration of club rugby in Ireland. And I think that's what we've got to do here tonight, Stuart. We've got to celebrate what is so good about the club game, and I'm hoping that these guys that represent this AIL really put up a good show against this Leinster A team tonight.
Yes, definitely.
I think it's also important to mention here, folks, and again, this is a Leinster AIL Select 15. It's not an all AIL Select 15. Again, you know, it's a very difficult time to get players together. A lot have gone on their post AIL holidays, and again, it was a day off work and people had to train during the week, so the decision was made that to be a Leinster AIL Select 15. I know some people were questioning that online. So that's what it is, and of course there is a Munster-based player who's living and working in Dublin from Shannon, but which we might actually get into the teams now in a few moments, but it's important to point out. And folks, if you are watching at home tonight, do get involved in the chat on YouTube or on social media, and don't forget about our hashtags from the ground up and Energia AIL. Make sure you let us know where you're watching from, where you're tuned in from, and if any of the seniors are in the team room over in Leicester, do give us a shout out on social media there, gents.
Well, of course, that's another big game that we're going to be so looking forward to, Stuart, tomorrow. I reckon Leinster are licking their lips. Welford Road, Leicester, home for Leicester. Unbelievable place. I refereed there many times, but I think when that draw came out, Leinster will be licking their lips for that fixture.
I'm not sure I fully agree with you on licking their lips. Leicester sit at the top of the tree. Now, obviously, Leinster, I do think, will get the job done, but to say licking their lips, it's a big statement.
Yeah, but these are the challenges that teams like Leinster want. You know, they've dominated for so long, and I think these are the sorts of challenges that teams like Leinster are looking for. Like, it's been a little bit of a stroll through URC, and when you build to these types of games, these are the games you want as a professional rugby player.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully in a couple of years' time we will see a lot of these Leinster A teams play for the seniors. We've already seen their glitter with them tonight. Plenty of 5 or 10 caps or so, but there's a big talent out there for this Leinster A team, isn't there, Al?
Well, huge, and I'll be very interested, Stuart, with your in-depth knowledge of these types of... Who are the players that really are going to stand out for you in this contest tonight from the Leinster A team?
For me, you've put me in the spot. I like the look of Lee Barron, Conor O'Tiernig. Big under-20 campaign, sort of come out of nowhere, as Richie Murphy has said. Has another year. Sean O'Brien. And Charlie Tector, it's a big night for him. Had a pretty good under-20 campaign. See how he controls it. And then Rob Russell, plenty of pace. you like the look of Ben Brownlee, don't you? There's a bit of cricket there, isn't there?
Well, there's a bit of history there. Ben Brownlee was a very, very useful cricketer, and of course the Tector family are full of riches in cricket. They have 3 brothers who captain the Ireland under-19s, and Charlie Tector, of course, a cousin of those, Harry Tector, who plies his trade in the Irish international team. So it's a name that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. The old name Tector. Who's he? I can see Heatley, the father, often been asked about Charlie Tector. Is he related to you? He is kind of. It's obviously his cousin's son, Charlie, a farmer down from Wexford Way. Charlie Tector, big horsey people down there. His father Neville would have been big into the horse trade, so he's done very well for the 19s. I think he's a player that's got a lot of physical capabilities. He's kicked well, and I think he's very organised in what he does right throughout that under-20 campaign. I thought he was excellent, and again, they were so deserving of that Grand Slam title that they won this year.
Great. I think Tom's going to run us through the Leinster A team.
Yeah, well, it seems that you're talking about them. We might as well run everybody at home through them. So again, tonight's starting Leinster A team. On the front row, we have Mikey Milne, Lee Barron and Vak Abablidze at captain. Again, I knew, having been involved with Vak at underage level, I knew I was going to mess up his second name, so apologies, Vak, for that. Of course, another former Leinster youth in the second row, Brian Deaney and Conor O'Tiernig. Then the back row of Diarmuid Mangan, Martin Maloney and Sean O'Brien. At 9 we have Michael Maloney. 10 Charlie Tector. In the centres we have Ben Brownlee and Daniel Hawkshaw, and then the back three of Rob Russell, Chris Cosgrove and Max O'Reilly. On the bench today we've John McKee, then Jack Boyle, of course, from the Irish under-20s and former old Wesley Mini. We can't not mention that. Tom Connolly, Rory Clark, Daniel Leanne, Fintan Gunn, Sam Prendergast and Dylan O'Grady. Again, this is the 23 for Leinster A. I know 24 were initially named, but they're going with 23 tonight. So now we might hand over and take a look at the AIL Select 15.
Yeah, of course we will. Front three, Adam Coyle, Levi Vaughan and Ben Griffin. Of course, try score last week. JJ O'D played plenty of rugby here at Old Wesley. Cormac Daly, 6 or 5, playing in the second row today. Captain tonight, Harrison Brewer, joined the back row by Ronan Waters, St Mary's College. Conal Boomer, been really impressed with him over this season, especially coming on off the bench. He gets a start tonight at 8. Richie Fahy at 9, Aaron Egan, trendy man at 10, can play anywhere, but tonight he's got the option to control things. Craig Adams on the left wing. 12 and 13, Justin Leonard and Stephen Madigan. Then in 14, the pacey try-scoring machine, Sean Galvin. And speaking of pace, Alex Malloy, he'll be at 15 as well. On the benches, Luke Thompson, Harry Noonan, another Wesley man playing in his home patch. Luke Rigney, James Beresford, the trendy student as well. Josh Pym, again another one of the old Wesley members. Oscar Cawley, Colin Dooley can kick his goals, and Jack Keating. So Alan, looking across there, what have we read out? 46 names? Plenty of impressive names.
Well, look, in any of these sorts of situations, it's an opportunity for a player to shine, and no better place than this to do that. As you say, it's been a contrived game in a certain sorts of way, but I would imagine that Club 15 from the AIL will want to be putting on a show tonight. And as I said to you earlier, if we call it probables and possibles, if you're talking about that Club 15 being the possibles 15, they'll be wanting to put one over Leinster A. Of that there is no doubt. And I think, who knows, with the expansive riches that we've seen in the club game. So a wonderful AIL final between Clontarf and Terranure. I was really impressed with the standard. So much so, and he's not playing tonight, Jordan Coughlin, who played a lot of his trade in Division 1 Nottingham in the Jewson Championship, said that was a level above what he was playing there. So that just gives you an indication of the strength. Obviously we're on the back of the Ireland under-20s winning the Grand Slam, so things are good in Irish rugby at the moment.
And this is such a good way on of moving the amateur game and the professional game closer. Simon Broughton, Leo Cullen, they've obviously had ideas to do this. This is the first real time we've seen it. I'll be interested to see the scoreline, but also guys that have missed out coming through the system still maybe have a chance here.
Yes, potentially for those that do and have that and harbour that ambition, and that's the great debate. There's nothing wrong. We saw a number of superb players on show in the AIL final. I think of people who've gone on and got degrees and have done different things. Maybe they harboured ambitions 4 or 5 years ago to play professional rugby, but that's moved on. And I kind of think that within this, as I say, this Club 15, they'll be wanting to put one over their professional counterparts. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they definitely will, as we await kick-off.
It's a funny old atmosphere here, sir. The last time we were here 2 weeks ago, the place was absolutely alive. Of course, we were here for the Old Wesley Nace semi-final of AIL.
I'd say
Division
plenty
1B.
heard of you anyway.
Well, I got very excited, I have to say. I'm sorry if I stole your thunder on one particular occasion, but it was a moment of overjoyed glee.
It's never about me, Alan. I know who it's about here. I think you do too.
Well, not really. I've really enjoyed our company together this season, Stuart. Love you dearly, as I always do. But we had a wonderful time here in a game that we thought was dead in the water with 9 minutes to go. But what excitement at the end that we had.
Yeah, definitely. If we get a game like that, Alan, tonight we'll be doing well.
Well, isn't it funny when you've got, to a certain extent, club allegiance, which I have. Obviously, I'm an Old Wesley member, and we had all the excitement and the fun of the fair of 2 converted tries. It was a bit like, has to be said, Real Madrid against Man City. Like, it was just, and again, the other side of things, and I've always kind of said this thing, sport is a funny way of conjuring up certain things, but when the human mind is under pressure, Wesley scored out wide when really they needed to score by the posts. But they never, it's gone on for 3 weeks in that bar. I was at an Irish Charitable Trust lunch today, very successfully run, of course, for injured players. Wonderful occasion, Ollie Campbell, many Philip Orr, some great stalwarts of the Irish game, and it was wonderful to hear some of their stories of yesteryear and whatnot. But this is the here and now, and rugby has moved on, and I would say, as I said to you before, this Club 15 will want to do some damage tonight, I think. Do I hear the pitter-patter of feet of Leinster arising from the Bective Rangers end?
We do indeed. Back at Abeladze leads his team out. Great story from him, Georgian roots, everything, but seems to be loving. Came over here years ago, but loving his rugby and really embraced the Leinster culture and the way he's going. And here he is now leading Leinster A out. Some big men there, Alan, aren't there?
Well, if you're going to import a prop, bring him from Georgia is what I'd say. And with a name like Abeladze, he ain't from anywhere else, I have to say, Stuart. And as you say, some of these kind of sports stories of, in a sense, beginnings to ends are in many ways humble, humiliating, whatever way you want to look at it. But again, it's a great time to be here, and I'm really looking forward to this clash. It's nice to see, of course, the Club 15-11 playing in their club socks. Touch Barbarians, has to be said.
Yep, as Harrison Brewer from Tarnier College leads the Club 15 out onto this pitch. Of course, Brewer has played a bit of rugby in Japan and New Zealand.
And refereeing the game tonight, Robbie Johnson. And I'm sure, Robbie Jenkinson. I've got my E's and J's and O's making. Robbie Jenkinson, I'm sure he's going to be looking forward to tonight, no end. Always nice to do these sorts of games.
And it'll be Charlie Tactor to get us underway this lovely evening in Dublin. Tactor goes deep. That's a fine touch clearance. So a pretty settled start there for the Club 15.
That was a lovely touch find. Always nice to get one of those away.
Yeah.
With authority.
Aaron Egan, I think that was. Fine siege gun of a boot early on. As more and more fans trickle in here. So a first chance for Lee Barron to hit his jumper. And he does just that. Deeney and Leinster A go off the top. And what a start this is. Back inside. They've hardly had a chance to get into gear. And Chris Cosgrave says, thank you very much, Leinster A. It didn't take them long.
Well, that looked all terribly simple, Stuart. Lovely ball off the top of the line out from Deeney. And a wee little inside pass, and Cosgrave. Maybe it's to do with the Leinster 15 in terms of just coming together. This Leinster side have been together, of course, a long time, and that was all a little bit too easy, I have to say, Stuart.
Yes, it did look that way, but the execution was very good from the blue shirts. It's Tector. I'll have a chance just to make it 7-0. Interesting old technique from Tector, but straight and true. And talk about a perfect start. It won't get much better, Alan.
Well, it was the perfect 7, and we're only, what, not even 2 minutes into the match. Leinster A lead by 7-0, so bit of thinking to do for the Club 15.
We'll give them a chance. They haven't had too many training sessions, Al.
No, but it's heart and desire as well now, Stuart. That's going to be very important.
Fine restart from Egan. Sean O'Brien just collects that. Ball to base for Maloney. Michael Maloney. Good kick. Alex Malloy just trying to get his hands on that. But they'll have to get back, and they do. Justin Leonard. Fine haircut. The number 12. And Belvedere man. Still there. Leinster A looking to counter that. But Fahy tries to get it away, but good pressure. Once again, just making sure the ball is under control. And this time, the UCD scrum half does clear his lines.
I think what we're seeing here, Stuart, is that just extra zip, or that extra half a second that being together in a professional setup makes. Scrum half Richie Fahy just slow really to get things moving. Leinster go again.
Barron,
throw over the top.
First real time to see this Club XV go, and what a bounce that was. But the ball presentation isn't quite right. It's that Ben Griffin acting at scrum half. Well down from the Wesley man in JJOD. And the long locks. Fahy told to leave it as they try and go through the middle. But we'll come back from the knock on. But you do say that, Alan, you know, these guys at Leinster, they're with each other every single day. So obviously the structures are going to be in better place than the club side.
Well, they just look that little bit sharper, don't they, Stuart? And that's understandable. As you say, they're together more often. And again, this is going to be another moment. First scrum of the game, so early on. And it'll be so important for the Club 15 to make a marker here, put their stamp on things, a good, clean, steady scrum.
So, good initial hit. The referee wants to go again.
And surprise, surprise, the first scrum of the match goes down.
And don't you start with this now.
No, I'm not going to start with this, Stuart, I promise you that. But again, quite wisely, Jenkinson coming to the loose head side of Leinster to look to be doing a little bit of hinging there. I'm learning all these words, Stuart, since I've departed from the professional game well over 11 years ago.
Plenty of experience in that club team, you know. Adam Coyle, their prop. Ireland clubs, former under-20s. One cap for Leinster. And they get it away. Fahey goes to the boot. Not his greatest kick. And the danger men in Leinster A go. One more is needed, and one more is got. Just short. Leinster are brought down. Rob Russell. But one more, and they get over the line. And just like that, they hit you where it hurts. Great score there in the end.
Well,
but it all came from Rob Russell, didn't it, Alan?
Well, it all looked very straightforward. A kick from deep. No pressure on the receiver. Immediately pulled the ball in field. Worked wide to the left-hand side. And again, quick ruck ball. So Russell in a straight line. It was all very straightforward, really.
It was, and the heavies got over in the end. They were off the shoulder on, and the big prop part over.
You kind of really hope, Stuart, in these early stages, the game only 6 minutes old, Charlie Tector looking to make it 14 points to nil, that we're not going to be here for a massacre.
Hopefully not. It's Tector, just like he did moments ago, lands another one, and 14-0 up. This A team.
That's one thing, actually. It was quite funny, Stuart. We were here for the semi-final of 1B. I thought the standard goal kicking was unbelievable, and again, no different to AIL Division 1 final. The same thing. The standard goal kicking now is of an exceptional quality at all levels.
Yes, it is indeed. And what a take that is from Deeney. And the penalty comes, not rolling away. But you can just see the go forward Leinster they're getting over the gain line time and time again.
Well, they're extremely dynamic. They're together. And as you say, getting over the gain line with gusto as Tector.
And stealing ball.
Excellent work from Justin Leonard, getting in a very good position initially. Get his hands on the ball. And Jenkinson, quite rightly, penalising Leinster for holding.
Egan finds the roof above us here. Good striker of the ball.
I've always noticed that at AIL games, Tommy O'Brien beside us, he gives this signal on the road, on the road. Well, I don't know whether this one is on the road or not, but it has always amused me during the course of our commentary, Stuart.
So Levi Vaughan was going to throw it in, but they get the tap. Cormac Daly, he only knows one way. Fahey, ball on the plate to JJOD. And those red boots, interesting. Egan, back inside to Ronan Waters. Fahey again. As OD, he's back up, he's looking for work. Short line comes. Just one out runners at the moment. But here come the cavalry from the club team. Have the advantage. Ball comes loose. But we will come back. Thought for a moment Rob Russell was going the length. That's better from this club team. A few phases, and they look dangerous when they get going.
Probably a wee bit narrow. But as you say, those one-out runners, it's a common theme. And then also heartening to see the Club 15 looking to get a long touch, see can they get some attacking intent. Again, possibly they might have a bit more purchase, but that's enough. 15 metres out from the Leinster A line, Stuart, so maybe they can build something from here.
Yep, hopefully. I think, as they say, they need to score next to stay right in this game. As Levi Vaughan gets himself set. Ternier man does find Waters from St Mary's. And now Fahy does decide to get away, and Leonard with the legs going forward. And once again the advantage comes, so Leinster just being a wee bit ill-disciplined. Not sure about that ball, but doesn't matter too much, as the purple shirts have another advantage. I wouldn't say they'll go for 3. What do you think, Alan?
Well, that's the sort of thing, really. Those type of offside infringements from slow ball would be a real frustration to a coach, and I don't imagine so. And again, they're looking for the corner, probably quite rightly so. They want to stay in this game if they can and try and score tries. Sure, that's what they want to try and do. Hopefully this Club 15 can settle down a wee bit after 2 very soft early scores from Leinster A, showing their sharpness, and hopefully this Club 15 can get stuck into this game. Quite a somber atmosphere in the ground, something we're not used to, Stuart.
So Vaughan does find his jumper, and he's back with the ball, the hooker. And Fahy in there as well. But just a wee bit of miscommunication, but they're going to get another chance. Richie Fahy, he looks a bit bewildered there.
Well, they haven't quite settled down, Stuart, which is completely and utterly understandable for a club team that have just been cobbled together over the course of the last week to give Leinster A something to think about, and hopefully they do give them something to think about from the neutrals' point of view here tonight. It's interesting too, Leonard has made a good start for the Leinster 15, normally plies his trade at 10 for Belvedere, but at 12 tonight, with Aaron Egan from Dublin University taking that quarterback place.
So the ball just slips out. Tactor picks up the pieces, but maybe forces it, and he does force it. We'll restart a game with a scrum, but I suppose that's the area that this club team want to get right. The scrum ball coming out the side isn't great, Al.
Well, they really didn't have that scrum under any sort of control. Interesting too that they're having a chat amongst one another just to try and get things right, but they've opted for the line out, not unsurprisingly, I have to say, Stuart. Much better platform to run attacks off if you can get it right. Interesting to see where they go here. So Leinster, they go to the back, and not unsurprisingly, I've seen it so many times, and this could be real danger.
It could be danger, yeah.
Danger.
And away they go. Leinster, they're so good when they get moving. The ears are pinned back inside, and there is the score. How good is that? From one end to the other, and the blue shirts are scoring more tries, their third of the afternoon.
Well, everything from an uncontrolled line out, really, and you throw to the back at your peril. We've seen it time and time again. When you're trying to establish control, get it to the front or get it to the middle. They went to the back, there was an overthrow, and Leinster, really, that just extra bit of pace. It was nothing more than that, Stuart, really. And it looked to me, Chris Cosgrave waltzing in for the try. Ben Brownlee struggling a wee bit for whatever reason. He's down injured at the far end of the ground. What's going to happen here? Of course, he suffered a wrist fracture through the Six Nations 20s, and he looks to be in a bit of bother.
Yeah, hopefully not, because it's his first game back, so hopefully he can get himself back up, because he was so impressive in those couple of games. Tactor off that right boot, and where else but between the sticks. You mentioned the goal kick, Alan. Every time we seem to come here, the 10s kick their points.
Well, I don't know whether it's me, Stuart, or whoever it may be. I'm astounded with the standard of goal kick, and it looks as if Brownlee's going to be leaving the field.
And Sam Prendergast will come on, so a big opportunity for him. Kick goes deep.
Well, that was the advantage, Stuart, of the artificial pitch. That looked as if it was going to go dead, but it didn't. And
Prendergast stepping in at first receiver. Good challenge. That's where they've got to meet them. This Club 15. Right on that advantage line. Maloney. Straight down the throat of Alex Malloy. And shouting for it is Boomer. Not getting the space so far that Boomer wants. Time will tell. Good step from Brewer. Lovely hands. Sonny Bell-esque here. JJOD back inside. Lovely interchange from the forwards. As soon as I say that, the error is forced. But we're going to come back for the initial knock on. What about those hands?
Fantastic hands, but the one thing that's kind of so noticeable here, Stuart, is just the extra little edge of speed, that half a second that this Leinster A team have having. It just shows you levels, you know, in terms of most of these players that are in the Club 15 playing their trade in Division 1 of the AIL, and this Leinster A team, they're sharp, they're quick, they're athletic, and it just shows you the hunger and ambition these guys have to move on. It's just a factory line of young talent.
So, man, he's just back from long-term shoulder injuries. Maloney feeds that, so good to see him out there. He's asking his big pack to keep trundling on, but they're going to be stopped. We'll have another reset scrum. Apologies to anyone out there. It is 21-0. Our scoreboard has dropped, so we will get that sorted shortly. One area here to attack from. So Sam Prendergast at 10, Tector sliding into 12, the Lansdowne man. They won't get a chance because it is a free kick. And a bit of argy-bargy. You don't mind that, Alan? Not too much of it, mind you.
Never minded a wee bit of argy-bargy. Martin Maloney adding his weight. But there's absolutely no need. It was something that you commonly saw, a lot of huffing and puffing and pushing. And the Leinster Club 15 go again.
Through Boomer, their main ball carrier. As the referee slides his arm out once more. OD had Waters on his shoulder, but he took it up. And now they create a bit of space. Nice hands from Harrison Brewer. Fahy to OD. Fahy just scanning his options. And they do have numbers. And there's Malloy. We've seen it all season from Alex Malloy. Pops it up off the ground.
Who's that, Stuart?
Fahy looks for his big forwards, and Ben Griffin with a bit of a bounce, and they go straight through the middle. Much better from this Club 15. Fahy to Coyle, the Nace man. The scrum half looks to go himself. Again, always looking to get it away from the ground. And they're still going. Have they got over? No, they haven't. There must have been a wee infringement I couldn't quite see, but they will have a scrum.
It appears to me, Stuart, there was a knock-on just as he was going to the goal line. Well spotted by Jenkinson, who had given the original knock-on against the Leinster A team. But that's better from the Club 15. Some lovely work from the scrum half. Richie Fahy offload in the tackle. And they're the sorts of things, if you want to progress forward, keep that forward momentum going. And a big scrum now for the Club 15. They'll really want to try and get a bit of a stranglehold, get themselves a score, get back into this game. Obviously, referee Jenkinson trying to get a stranglehold in these scrums. Get them right, get them set. It's quite a funny thing. Again, any of these sorts of things from my own days refereeing, if you got the scrum and the tackle right, Stuart, you generally had a very good game. And it's so important to establish a real credibility around scrum time as early as you can about what you're going to accept and about what you're not going to accept. And that looks a bit more settled now, and it is.
Does indeed. And the number 8, and Boomer goes himself, well brought down. Still there, OD. And the pick through the middle on the offload to the scrum half. Ben Griffin pumping those legs just like he did last Sunday. Back inside from the captain. And there is the offload, and there is the score. JJOD on his home paddock gets the score. That was well worked and well done.
Really well worked. JJOD getting into the hole, and he's had a very good start to this game. He's been dynamic, presented the ball very well. He's a very good player, and he seems up for the fight in this game, and that's just what the Club 15 needed. Excellent try off the base of that scrum to get back in this game. And again, what looks like a regulation conversion, get back to 21-7. That's what we need here, so we really need a competitive fixture here.
We do indeed. As Egan, his first kick into the sunshine, easy as you like from Aaron Egan. But what about these two, O'Day and Cormac Daly? They know each other for a long time, and they're in there offloads and tries. Great to see two former Navan men.
True. Well, throughout the final part of the campaign, I thought JJOD just wasn't himself for whatever reason. Real dynamic second row forward for All Wesley, and he's shown that there, and he's getting a wee bit of attention now, but he's been very good at the start of this match. We're 22 minutes in, 23 minutes in. Certainly he's had a good game so far, JJOD, and he'll be relishing this, I'm sure.
Tector once again gets this game back underway. Malloy, the lovely red boots. He knows those tram lines very well, and sure enough, he delivers a fine kick.
You've mentioned those red boots, Stuart, on 3 occasions now. These fancy Dan boots, are you a fan or not a fan?
Yeah, I used to wear the old Adidas Predators, but then I had to retire, Alan, so you can make that of what you will.
Well, were they the red, black, luminous green, or were they just a straightforward black and white?
World Cups 98, right, back to the rugby. Lee Barron, straight up and straight through, picked up by his opposite hooker, Vaughan. He gets it away. Fahy kicks straight down the middle from Egan. Rob Russell wants to go himself, and he will. What play that is from the winger. So casual and so good. Loose enough ball. Mangan can't really pick up service like that. But what about Rob Russell?
There's something about this guy. Not alone did he create the opportunity or the attacking opportunity, wonderful feat, but he was there to clear out, having given the pass. That's wonderful from him. He looks a very, very exciting player, Rob Russell.
Ulster used to kick his points in the GAA for Kilmacud Crokes. There you go.
Well,
not that I know much about that.
Well, the only thing I understand that, Stuart. You wouldn't be the greatest fan of the GAA, but the only thing I will say in terms of GAA, I think it's a wonderful place to learn about feet movement, particularly at a young age, catching, goal kicking, kicking off both feet. And again, to be fair, let people decide.
Boomer goes from the base.
Is a product of that. We've got to celebrate that, Stuart. I know you might find that difficult.
No, I actually like Andrew Minor, so you can get off my back. As the penalty comes, and will they look to go quick? No, they won't. Tell you what, the last 10 minutes has definitely been the club's team's victory.
Yes, they've been much more organised, much more structured. They've got into the game now, and they've become better. And another decent touch find. Here's Stewart. Could be just the tonic they need. If they can get within 10-15 metres. What a talk. Aaron Egan now. See, there's another injury. Why can't we get on with the game here, Stuart? I just don't understand it. Like he has no impact on play whatsoever. Let's get the kick away and let's get on with the game.
Well, he can't just stand them. If someone needs to be treated, they have to be treated. Do you not think?
Like, have we not got a situation in rugby? We've waited now a minute for Ronan Waters to have a little bit of water on his head, a little bit of a dust down, have a little breather. Can we not just get on with things?
Good St Mary's man, Ronan Waters, in and around the wider 20 squad, came through at St Mary's College. And we'll reassess with a kick to the touch from the Trinity University striker of the ball, Aaron Egan. And that's better, and that's a fine kick from him.
Excellent kick. Good 40-metre touch find. Just what we talked about, Stuart, there. Within 15 metres of the line. And hopefully, for their sake, they choose a wee bit of a different option. They might go front and middle here, get possession secured. And indeed they do.
What a take that is from Daly. They go off the top to Leonard, but the ball isn't secure. And they'll be kicking themselves. Another good opportunity goes by wayside. Tactor, always looking to go, is Charlie Tactor. Maloney has his back row and his forwards outside him. Will they still go? Yes, changing the point of contact into the hands of Lee Barron. And they're still coming round the corner. Avaladze. Good dummy from Daniel Hawkshaw. Of course, has a couple of brothers. And David. And Jimmy. Good Clontarf family of rugby. And again, Maloney happy to find the safety of the touchline.
Some lovely hands there earlier from Martin Maloney. These lovely soft passes which are so important, particularly close to the game line. Get that little hole, get a half a shoulder, Stuart. That's what you're looking for, to get that breakaway. They've been impressive so far, Leinster, right?
Vaughan, not the man he wanted, but Griffin picks up the pieces. And Fahy, Egan, nice and flat, and they go out the back. What a ball that is from Leonard into the space. Somehow they keep it in play. It's Boomer, always looking to go those extra yards, but he's well put back. Fahy.
Maybe a hint of offside there from Lee Barron, but Jenkinson thinks otherwise. Very much on the edge here, Leinster, Ray. It's good
Leonard.
from Leonard. Excellent from Leonard. Malloy takes it forward. That's excellent play. Leonard in there to play at half-back.
O'D goes himself, the try scorer. Is the ball quick? Yes, it is. Brewer. They will have numbers, but again, it hits the ground, and the kick comes through from Cosgrave. But Malloy, didn't he do well? The charge down into the hands and straight out wide, and that's too easy. The scrum half, Michael Maloney, is on the end of it, but really the club 15 will be kicking themselves. But the scrum half, right place, right time, and then for the try.
All a bit soft, that finish, really. And for the neutral here, a wee bit disappointing. But Maloney did well in the end to cut inside and make the score. But the Club 15 will be disappointed with that. That was a very, very soft try to give away. But there's an element of sharpness about this Leinster A team. You have to be fair. They're playing on the edge. They're playing on the edge of the gain line. And they've done well tonight. Stand-up player. This Rob Russell I've been watching carefully. Pace, speed, agility. Aggressive in the contact area, and he's going to be one to watch for the future for me.
So Chapter to keep his 100% kicking record for the night. It's not going to happen. Just slides wide. So he does finally miss one. Does Charlie Chapter.
Is that the commentator's curse, Jim?
No comment.
How often does it happen when you're in a mood, someone is playing well, someone's doing this, someone's doing that, and suddenly you get the legs chopped from you?
Such is life. Egan. And they're back at it. And what a carry that is. O'Brien. How dangerous is he? And somehow the top tackle comes in. But this wave of attack from Leinster is still coming. And there's the advantage. Maloney. Prendergast. And they do have numbers. The step inside. On the offload to Hawkshaw. Maloney again. Prendergast. Lovely hands. And who else but Rob Russell? Thank you very much. He's been brilliant this opening half. And he's in.
I think in fairness, Stuart, you might have even scored at the finish of that try with your pace. But that was wonderfully worked in the end. Lovely hands right through at the back line. And Russell, for me, who's been a wee bit of a star attraction tonight, finished the job.
A week ago, plenty of these players were doing serious damage in South Africa, creating opportunities. Although they did lose a couple of games, they got their opportunities, and now they're back in Dublin, showing what they're all about. Chapter, can he fare better? And he did moments ago. No, he can't this time. He pulls it left. Five tries though, Alan. It's very, very good, isn't it?
I think, Stuart, it's also worth mentioning at least 1,500 people in here tonight. A nice crowd in to watch this game. Both sides of the stands are reasonably full, and a lot of young spectators here supporting their club mates and you know, guys there looking up to playing club rugby. Great to see on a Friday evening here in Donnybrook in Energia Park.
Definitely is, Tom, as you say. Plenty out supporting and plenty watching the stream, Alan. Great this year in the AIL. As we mentioned time and time again, it's been absolutely superb.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The AIL has been a fantastic product this season, and I was glad that the IRFU saw fit to have the final played in the Aviva Stadium. I was there myself. Wonderful atmosphere, excellent game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, I have to say. As a mere neutral, I know I didn't show a huge amount of neutrality in that penultimate game of the season with Wesley. I got a lot of slagging, I have to say, for the old final fling that we both had to endure, but it's been a brilliant AIL season, I have to say.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll keep growing over the next couple of years. Definitely has the potential. Games like this showing what it's all about. As Levi Vaughan once again goes to the front. It's lovely play, but the error just comes, and Leinster, just like they've done all half, look to go from deep. Contact there taken from Rob Russell. Lovely hands from Mill. But this time, the Club 15 are in like a thief in the night, winning the penalty. So still pretty good over the ball.
I never understand holding penalties in those types of positions. You know, in terms of knowing that you're isolated, just get rid of the ball. You've got your teammates beside you. Used to be something that we talked about often when I was in clubs as a referee. Why would you give a holding penalty away around the 10-metre line when the only thing you're going to end up with is a line out 10 metres from your line, Stuart?
And again, the line out just hasn't quite functioned. And Barron down, dealing with the leftovers. Maloney always seems to get a few extra yards, does the 9, with that box kick.
Should have a wee bit more purchase out of it. So, first half close to a conclusion now. Leinster very deserving of their 31-7 lead. They've been very good so far. Probably not surprising. Been together a long time.
Much better from Vaughan. And Boomer goes himself tirelessly as ever. What a carry that is from the number 8. Fahy to Brewer. Still there for the 9. Good pass to Adam Coyle. So can they get something before the first half? Straight through they go. Daly. And just like moments ago and time again this first half, when you think they're going to go under the sticks or over the line, a knock-on comes.
Again, Ronan Waters probably not the best of decisions. Obviously quite possibly rightly looking for the offload, but he just didn't have things under control. And Leinster are fortunate to get away with that. And the scrum now defensively on their own 5-metre line. I don't anticipate a huge amount of pressure. The wonder is, will they potentially go from here? 31-7 ahead, last minute of the half. Who knows? Will they show that ambition, Stuart, I wonder?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do swing it from left to right. But look at that first, the scrum, absolute dominant there. Don't even have to move it out because you're 8 trundling up the pitch.
Well, a fairly obvious penalty there. Life made very easy for the referee, Jenkinson, who's had a good first half. Gone unnoticed, nice and busy. Got the big decisions right. I obviously have an eye on who an official might be, but
if you're saying he's been good, he's been bloody good,
well,
Al.
the thing for me is he's gone unnoticed, which is what they say. You haven't spoken about him once, Stuart, which is always a good sign.
No, you're exactly right. He has been. Certainly let the game flow. That's what you referees like to see and like to hear.
Well, I don't like them being talked about, Stuart. I think when you've had a good game, you've gone unnoticed, and that's the best way to have it. Nope. Marshalling things, get that cap right.
Barron. Bit of dummying in there. But doesn't happen. And the free kick to the opposition.
Well, Leinster certainly weren't 10 there by any matter of means.
The carry from Griffin. Egan, what's he do? He uses his winger in Craig Adams. Haven't seen too much of Adams. Brewer always looking to get away. Smart play from the back row to Madigan in the short line. So they're still here and still fighting. Better ball retention that time. Harrison Brewer, he's been great, so he has.
Certainly has. And as you said earlier there, Craig Adams, who had a wonderful AIL final on the left wing for Terranuri, he hasn't had much of the ball tonight, but he was electric in that final, it has to be said. And they might just need to bring him a bit more into the game. And that, in a sense, is a struggle within a club 15. You don't quite know where you are. You haven't got your systems worked out or various different things. but I was very impressed with him in the All-Ireland League final. And the Club 15 really have one more chance here. They're definitely going to kick for the corner if they get it to within 5 metres of that line.
Yeah, so right on the half-time whistle, one last chance. As you mentioned, Egan, he'll be looking to get this as far as he can into that corner down at the old Wesley bar end. So if there's ever a time to sort this line out from Levi Vaughan, it's now. And he does, perfect from him. Fair play to the hooker. And they get the wheel going. But Leinster A doing ever so well. There's plenty of numbers this short side. But the big prop, Griffin, couldn't quite get the execution, but he did well. OD.
OD again makes ground, Stuart.
The ball is sloppy, but well picked up. I think that was Brewer again. So Fahy digging in there. Leinster doing ever so well to slow it. What a tackle from Milne and Abladadze. Always looking to go is Griffin. Real classy prop. The short line. But again, straight in to that blue wall of defence. Good step and feet. Fahy goes short side. Back to the scrum half. But Leinster defending so well. And now, will they look to go? They will indeed. Conor O'Tiernig. Maloney says enough's enough. We'll take this half-time lead. So 5 tries to 1. Pretty impressive stuff from Leinster A.
Absolutely. And they've played very well here tonight. There's periods in the match that the Club 15 got into the game, that middle period that you spoke about, sure, that 10-minute patch, that they did very well. But it's just that extra sharpness of the Leinster A 15, and they've played very well. Standout for me, Rob Russell on the left wing.
I think he might be your new favourite player, Alan.
Well,
Second half coming up shortly next.
Thanks for that, Stuart and Alan, for the first half. And again, we'd like to give a special mention to our sponsors, Energia and Bank of Ireland. Again, without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring you streams like this tonight. So thank you to both Bank of Ireland and Energia Energy. So again, the score here at halftime, after a very entertaining first half, sees Leinster A leading the Leinster AIL 15 on a score of 31 points to 7. And again, do put in some comments in the comment section of YouTube. Let us know where you're watching from, because we know we have a global audience here tonight. And again, judging by my phone, some members of the executive committee of Leinster are watching over in Leicester, but they'll remain nameless. So again, look, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to give the Old Wesley page a like and a follow if you wouldn't mind. It helps us bring games like this to our followers, and again, we will have highlights up hopefully during the week too. So if you give us a follow, you'll get the alert when the highlights are up. So with that, we'll take a pause for a moment, and we'll let you go make a cup of tea or get a cold drink on a Friday night, and Stuart and Alan will be back with you momentarily. So as the teams here have taken respite to the sheds in Donnybrook for half time, we will be starting back here momentarily. And again, just a reminder viewers at home, it is Leinster A leading the Leinster AIL Select 15 on a score of 31 points to 7 here in Energia Park in Donnybrook. Again, if you're watching at home, let us know where you're watching from, put a comment in, and do please like and follow the Old Wesley YouTube page, as it greatly helps us bring streams to people, and hopefully we'll have some highlights up during the week and you will get the alert when those highlights go up. We're about 4 or 5 minutes here left in the half. The teams are still in the dressing rooms, so we'll be back with you soon. So again, ladies and gentlemen, as we await the teams to come back in the dressing room here for the second half, we need to give a special thank you to our match sponsors, Bank of Ireland and Energia Energy. Without them, we couldn't bring you this stream tonight, so a huge thank you to those, our sponsors tonight. Of course, Bank of Ireland, title sponsor for all rugby within Leinster, both domestic and pro game. We can see some movement now in the Leinster dressing room as they're getting ready to come back out. So not long to go here for the second half. Leinster, of course, coming out of the back-to-end change rooms with the Leinster AIL selection in the Wesley end. Again, it's a great evening for rugby here in Energia Park. A balmy 14-15 degrees. The earlier rain has cleared away and not a breath of wind either. So really, really good conditions here for rugby tonight. Now we have Leinster coming back out, and we have the Leinster AIL selection back out in the park. So as we get set here for the second half to kick off, I'm going to hand you back to Alan and Stuart, and we'll get things underway. Alan, I must admit, you are dressed incredibly well here this evening. Possibly one of the most dapper commentators I've seen in a long time. The cravat though is a touch too much, I think.
Well, I decided to dress up for you tonight, Tommy. You've brought these pictures all season at Energia Park, and no better time to dress up for you. You're not looking too undapper yourself, I have to say. Probably not as trim as me. I've been in the gym a bit more than you have, but there we go, Stu.
I think I'll just stick to the rugby, Alan and Tom. That's what I like to do, so that's okay. So hopefully we'll see a second half, maybe a wee bit more competitive, Alan, as Aaron Egan gets us underway. And what a take that is. Great skill there. Goes to the air. Boomer. Well watched by Cosgrave. Fahy. And the subs are on. I see Harry Noonan there. A good old Wesley man. Great to see him out there and straight in the action. Brewer. The forced pass comes straight away. But there's something a wee bit different. I think that's Jack Keating on there from old Belvedere, but he's trying something.
One of the things I'd like to see from referee Robbie Jenkinson, just push that Leinster A, just that little bit of a half a metre. Again, they've played that outside in defence. Leinster A putting pressure on the ball carrier, which they're quite entitled to do.
And what about this man? Campbell College Schools Cup winner, John McGee. Now in the blue.
You're getting excited already, Stu.
No, I won't mention that. He's some player, fair play to him, and he's down, picking up the pieces, going forward. Maloney was going to pass. The referee spots an infringement, and the club 15 will have a penalty.
In the side there. Robbie Jenkinson picking that up, and Egan will again look for a half-decent touch find if he can from a good area. And indeed he does, Stuart.
There's something I like about this guy, Aaron Egan. Play across the back line, but he seems to be more settled this year at Trinity, and he's playing some pretty good ball.
Well, I think it's part and parcel of what has been an excellent AIL season, which in the course of 18 games, semi-final and final, of course.
So,
and a lot of interest in this club 15.
And this is better, as you say, from the club 15. What a powerful drive. Vaughan at the back of it. He's happy to keep in there, and two right as his teammates join him, and Leinster there backpedaling. Just a couple of metres short. As a short ball comes, but just again, just like the first half, inches from the line, the error is forced. Was that Stephen Madigan? So close.
Yeah, he just got a little bit isolated, went into a double tackle, lost the ball forward. Probably didn't really go into that contact with conviction, Stuart.
Madigan has a twin brother. Of course, Rory plays rugby too, the former Blackrock schoolman.
What was that college you mentioned?
Don't know, but they know how to win cups, don't they, Al?
Well, it took them 12 years.
I think I saw them win one a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Well, 12 years after their last one. But an emphatic victory it was, to be fair.
There's a wee mistake, I thought, from the base. But Jenkinson says, no, it's gone back. Somehow that finds a stance. What a tackle that was. Chris Cosgrave just letting Jack Keating know he's there.
Maybe tell me a little bit more about this John McKee, Stuart.
What would you like to know?
I'd like to know a lot more than I know now.
Campbell College, cup winner again, came up here, played his club rugby, worked hard, Leinster sub-academy into the academy, and now has represented the senior team. It's a great story, Alan, to be honest, and he's some player, and look at him go on the short ball. Thought he was actually a wee bit isolated there.
I thought that too, I have to say. Just trying to remind myself who the fetcher was there, but he looked to be on the ball. But referee Jenkinson felt he wasn't in a position to carry his own body weight, which is one of the big issues.
But you mentioned McKee, played a lot of rugby, still has Old Belvedere, and then made a senior debut against the Sharks there a couple of weeks ago for Leinster. But really, I suppose coming up here and working hard, it just shows what you can do, really. You know, because Ulster at the time pretty much said there wasn't a spot, if I'm right, in the academy for him.
It's amazing that, because it's one of those things, and it perhaps shows the ambition of these guys, but he certainly looks like the type of player build and whatnot for a hooker. He looks in very good shape, and he's been dynamic since he's come on the field. McKee, as I understand it, Stuart, I'm getting the sense that Ulster have a very good academy at the moment.
Yeah, I think they do. You know, Kieran Campbell was there, he's gone to Ealing, but now, yeah, they definitely do. Players coming through, you know, like say Ethan McElroy on the senior side, you know, Nathan Doak, all these guys, plenty of players just coming through the system, but like, it is getting there, but there's still one academy it has to get to, and that's Leinster's.
Yeah, I understand, but I think it's like anything else in sport. People set benchmarks, and I think Dan McFarlane's done a very good job in Ulster so far as they grow and develop, and obviously that Toulouse defeat took the stuffing out of them, there's no doubt about that. When they lost to Munster the following week, they just looked flat. I'm not going to say understandably so, but
that's a great line from Martin Maloney. There's Michael Maloney and Prendergast, but it is spilled on the length of the pitch all the way. Can he run it in, Craig Adams? Yes, he can. In the first try of the second half, it goes the way of the club 15, and they pounced and he ran it in. He did well. Great pace from the winger.
Fantastic pace from the winger, and of course backdrop from a very good performance in the AIL final, and he showed the legs there, snapped up the opportunity, and it's just the tonic that the Club 15 needed at this stage to get back in the game if they can, because it's been hard going for them so far, Stuart.
It has, but let's face it, a couple of Leinster tries earlier in the second half or first half came like that. So the Club 15 decided they wanted to do like a bit of confusion in the midfield from Leinster, picked it up on a clean pair of heels.
You've made a valid point there, Stuart. Actually, it is quite amazing that, you know, if you can pounce an opportunity that's presented to you, which, as you quite rightly say, and certainly 2 of the 5 Leinster tries so far, that has been the case. And in this instance, it was the Club 15 that pounced. We've just had a bit of insight from Tommy, the ever dapper Tommy O'Brien. Back heel into the hands of Craig Adams, who finished beautifully.
He did indeed. Let's see if he can finish beautifully from the tee. Needs to travel, does travel, and what about that? Just when I bigged him up, there's no commentator's curse there on. Fine strike.
Isn't it funny, right? When you watch a goal kicker, and it's body language stuff, but the minute they strike it, they look to pick up the tee, It's a wee bit like a golfer. You know when you take that drive and you boom at 330 metres and you know it's going to go to the fairway? It's no different to a goal kick.
Brewer, as he's done all evening. Fahy, what's he decide to do? Decides to try and hit a runner in a short line. But Maloney in the grey scrum cap gets it down. And now Leinster are looking to play. What about this? Fine hands. Still going. Or Leinster, but that was lovely execution. Must score. And I think they will. We're just going to check this. The last pass. Was it forward or was it good? Just forward. But what about the hands in the middle of the park? Sam Prendergast all right at the heart of it.
Absolutely, it was the pace of delivery and the speed of the breakdown. Of course, this is something you look for all the time. Sam Prendergast. His brother Cian, of course, at Connacht, Ireland development player. And of course, he'll be looking to emulate that if he can himself. But that was a great piece of work. There's a lot of the Club 15 down on the ground getting attention.
So I think I see Daniel Leon come on for the last half an hour or so. More changes as well. Big reception for Josh Pym. You know his family well. Proud family tonight.
Absolutely. I'm sure his granddad will be watching on television. Walter Wilkie, of course. So we'll say hello to him. I'm sure he's watching at home. And nice to see Josh on the field. Has had a stellar season for Old Wesley at 7. He's had a major impact at times, and I'm sure he'll be delighted to get on tonight.
I have really liked the look of since he's come on. Sam Prendergast, came through at Newbridge College, kicked big goals in his time there in the Senior Cup and things. He looks, for such, what is he, Leinster under 19 last year. He seems to be the real deal, hopefully.
And of course, two there in that movement. Daniel Hawkshaw, a lot of pace, and it's a bound throughout. And the Club 15 will be looking to clear their lines here as best they can. This scrum very important for them.
They're marching back at the moment. Conal Boomer sorts that out. Fahy to his number 10. What a kick that is. But here we go. Leinster on the charge. Maloney just taking his time, but he gets there to Deeney. But there is a quick knock on. The referee has spotted. So
good initial chop tackle there from Pym.
Yeah, he's straight in, showing what he's all about. That's Jamie Beresford, another trendy man. So plenty of trendy students out there.
It's the Tony Smead factory line, Stuart. That's what I call that. I had the pleasure of refereeing his Blackrock under 13s against St Michael's in my solitary game that I do all season, but he's been a fantastic addition to the game. Tony Smead, I would reckon 150 rugby matches a season. Wonderfully committed, incredibly inventive, totally committed. And when you think of the progress that Trinity have made over the last 7 or 8 years, he can take a great degree of credit for that, Tony Smead.
I'd say 150 a week, Al, but away we go. The guy lives and breathes the game. Malloy taking it into contact. Just every time so far, you can see the frustration for Alex Malloy. We haven't seen too much of him. But, there's just errors slipping over the park.
I suppose there's a wee bit of naturalness to that. They're logically going to be that little bit more fatigued than their Leinster counterparts.
So another good attacking position. Maloney has Tector, but he goes in behind Prendergast. And what a ball that is from Cosgrave. And isn't this a joy to watch? And O'Grady on the outside shoulder. A good cover. I was sure that ball from Cosgrave to Russell would create something.
I wonder who that is, Stuart. I reckon it's Fintan Gunn who's just emerged, and the entire St Michael's school to our right-hand side have got to their feet.
What a moment for Fintan Gunn. You can, as you've mentioned, the crowd, everything. They expect big things from this man, and he seems to be some player, and I'm excited to see what he's got in his locker for the next 25 minutes. Youngster of Fintan Gunn. Let's hope he has a big, big future. What's the biggest cheer of the night? Now, yeah, obviously played a couple of cup games, Fintan Gunn, but you know, the way you had a pop at Blackrock, they actually beat Michaels this year,
well,
so I was just...
played one. And I was at it.
Was there no prelims for the man, though?
Certainly not. There was a great degree of angst for what people felt were the two best teams in the competition, of course, drawn in the first round. And it wasn't exactly the greatest rugby fair that I've seen. People called it exciting as a neutral. I didn't find it exciting. It was a very nerve-wracking type game that probably the class of certain individual players from Blackrock saw them win out in the day.
Big tackle in the middle of the park. The ball's still there. And straight into the pitch is Dooley. But he's flattened on his face by Chris Cosgrave. Crowd just getting in amongst it, but a bit of a moment I mentioned there for Cialan Dooley, you know, great goal kicker, brilliant player, you know, had his run there last week in the final. Very impressed with him and in this season in general.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Over an 18-game season, you've got to show that level of consistency, and Dooley did that for Terranure. Of course, someone that's close to my heart, and I met him before I came into the ground tonight. Ian Morgan, Moggy to his friends, has developed a real club culture, chairman of rugby in Terranure, and with where they were to where they've got now is great credit to them. And he's largely led that culture within the club. And to reach the final as they did, obviously a disappointment for them to lose it, but Clontarf have been the aristocrats, really.
They have indeed, and I think Conor O'Tiernig's evening's over. And what about this guy? You know, played all 5 games in the Grand Slam. St Michael's, they love a good second row. You know, James Ryan Baird, to name a few, but this boy, he's got a big, big future, Al. Conor O'Tiernig.
No doubt about that. Conor O'Tierney, this is a factory line of good players, and that was just shown by the 20s campaign. Grand Slam winners, wonderful victory against France in particular. Tenacity, really looked a good team.
So McKee gets his job right and then tucks it under the arm. And those flowing locks. And the army of the blue pack keep going, because he is stopped in his tracks and they need a scrum half. It's the Club 15 counter, but Gunn does somehow get it. He's certainly been introduced the hard way, has Fintan Gunn.
No doubt about that. Less of an easy ride than a school's 15 game. This is a different level of intensity, and it's going to be interesting for him.
Not many, I'm not sure if any, at school have represented, you know, or played senior rugby for the professional side like Leinster A. You know, I know Nathan Doak trained with Ulster when he had finished school in the summer, but like it is a pretty big moment for Fintan. You know, Leinster A still in school. I'm not sure in my time, Al, maybe you know someone that has done that.
Well, of course, there would have been, back in my era, probably when you were in short pants, Stuart, I would have thought Gordon Darcy was one that Warren Gatlin wanted to come straight from school to go on an Irish tour, would you believe, to South Africa. And of course he was a great schools player, that dream team of Clongowes in the 90s, of which he was a major part. Des Dillon, another, of course, that I remember at that time.
I suppose Luke Fitzgerald, actually, a couple of months out, he represented Ireland, didn't he?
He's another one.
But I think that was just after he left school. But anyway, it's great to see, anyway, for young Fintan Gunn.
I certainly recall probably the best schools final that I was part of. I think I did 3 of them at Belvedere: Cian Healy, Paul O'Donoghue, Owen O'Malley, to name but a few, in that Belvedere team that beat Blackrock on that occasion, where Luke Fitzgerald was playing at 12 for Blackrock. Armagh Trev, you remember him?
I do
Played in the
indeed.
World Cup.
Great pace, some finisher. Played a bit in Northampton, if I'm correct, as well. So Gunn, good pressure from Fahy, but the line from Cosgrave back inside to Gunn. Not shy of taking contact is Fintan Gunn, but he's turned over and it's in a purple shirt.
What about that work from Josh Pym just there?
Yes, very good. And now he's at scrum half, and Malloy, not often you see him pass it, he always looks to go. Madigan stopped in his tracks. They're looking to pick up the tempo. Just got to be careful, not going to get isolated. But the blue shirts weren't 10. We could do with another score, Alan, couldn't we?
Well, there's a ring to it, doesn't it? The blue shirts. Need to be careful, of course, don't we? Particularly a day, results of Northern Ireland elections and all that sort of stuff, Stuart.
That's me told then. Back to Leinster A.
We've got to try and bring a bit of humour to proceedings now and again, Stuart. There's no need to put a sour grape face. It's only another day in paradise.
It is indeed. So Richie Fahy comes from the pitch as we see Luke Thompson go to the back. But
Did well for the cover there, the Club 15.
It did indeed. As more subs come on. Cawley. Pym. Looking to pump those legs. And the kick comes over the top from Egan. What play that is. Lovely footwork from Craig Adams as well. But what a turnover that is. Who's in there?
Your man McKay.
And away they go. Brilliant play. Fintan Gunn. But he just loses the ball. Alex Malloy.
Great steal from Malloy to retrieve that.
Cawley again, looks left, goes right to JJOD. It's been a wee bit quieter in this second half. Again, a loose pass in the middle, but Malloy, how well does he do? Back to Adams, the chip and chase. But Gunn, again, a good scrum half, covering those pockets of space.
Crowd loving Fintan Gunn here tonight, Stuart.
And why not? Support their player. As the ball finds the tennis courts and we reset.
Interestingly, the Club 15 have got themselves into this game. They've battled. They've just got that little bit of level of intensity back in their own performance. Perhaps they're not the same type of finishing finesse as Leinster A, which you'd understand. They've done well so far. from a very difficult start.
We've talked plenty about the AIL, but these Leinster A players, they're really, some of them are putting a marker down to say, look, I know they have been involved, but I want to be involved in the senior side. I know it's a long way up there and the steps are big, you know, they've so many world-class players in that Leinster team, but some of these guys wouldn't look out of place, or certainly, hopefully the way they're going won't be close to being looking out of place.
Well, you can see that hunger and desire, and obviously that last week's performance against the Stormers largely was an incredibly young team, with a number of boys, of course, leaving Leinster next season for pastures new. Rory O'Loughlin, Byrne, of course, off to Connacht.
Cawley. Good crisp passing from the replacement 9, the Nace man. Egan asking for a runner and gets one. Well played, Beresford. And they go route 1. Keaton acting at 9. Until Cawley gets back up. Bit of space out wide. Nice hands from Dooley. But Leinster A cover it well and get the turnover and use the touchline as their friend.
Yeah, the Club 15 really should have brought that back inside, keep that momentum going. To be bundled into touch on the 10-metre line is not good, really. But again, it's just a mark of that Leinster A sharpness. So, moving into the last quarter of the game, I suppose the only probably area you think about is Leinster A have gone pointless in the second half.
Yeah, it's a good point, Alan, as they make another clumsy error. So plenty to work on for them, but yeah, probably the 22 minutes they weren't really expecting after that initial first 40 minutes, which was very, very good.
Well, if the Club 15 can get themselves on the try, could bring us into a very exciting final 10 minutes. So 13 minutes of the match remaining. 31-14 to Leinster A. A decent position to attack from here, Stuart.
Yeah, it is interesting. Club 15 stacked on this left-hand side. You can see Jack Keating with his hand up. Cawley. Go up the middle this time from Craig Adams. Their number 8, Conal Boomer. So impressive. JJOD goes himself. Cawley looking for runners, gets one in Pym. But Deeney, as ever, makes the tackle. Static at the moment. Can they change that? Not with that pass, they won't. But that is lovely from Egan. But
Surprised
Leinster,
he didn't call for the mark there.
yeah,
Well in his 22. And a very good grab from him as Leinster reassemble themselves.
yeah, kick wasn't as good as I thought, Alan. And the turnover comes. The bouncing ball. So Malloy needs a bit of space. Haven't seen the best of Alex Malloy tonight. Plenty of time though. Egan charged down the second row. And Deeney gets the pass away. And there is the try. Their 6th. And that came easy again for Leinster.
Indeed, Rob Russell. Don't know, Jenkinson going over to talk to his touch judge. Maybe he's seen something that he didn't like. And it looks as if there's no change. And a try for Rob Russell. Fortuitous. Again from the charge down, that just little bit of extra pace.
But the winger was right. on the second row shoulder, but it's that Brian Deeney there, you know, that's exactly what his coaches will want. Abrasive in the number 10's face, charge down, offload, and before you know it, there's another score.
Absolutely. Again, if you think about it coldly, probably 3 of the 6 tries that Leinster have scored have been very soft, really, Stuart.
So what about this? I've just been informed Anthony Watson played for London Irish, still at school at the age of 17. Now, I'm hoping I trust the source, but if that is right, which I think it is, because I back the lad, because he plays rugby here, his name's Conor Gasson, so if it's wrong, you'll be the man.
You've confused me already, Stuart. You're getting ahead of you're blinding me with science here, as you've done on a couple of occasions, but I've thoroughly enjoyed our fun together this season.
Have indeed.
That was an interesting clash.
Challenge comes. Cosgrave. Fine kick from him. Malloy needs to have his wits about him. Oh, Alex Malloy looking to go. Gets himself caught in a bit of danger. But the club 15 settle themselves now. The box kick off the left. Sam Prendergast just pushed into touch. JJOD turning into a bit barbarian style here. Egan does well. The knock on. And then the intercept. Jeez, it's helter-skelter here. Just needs to settle it. I suppose the club 15, they just want to play ball. And you can understand that.
Absolutely. Probably started with Alex Malloy there earlier on. Very ambitious from him. The club 15 cleared their sides, cleared their lines well, but just eyes off the ball from Stephen Madigan has led to this scrum in a very decent attacking position for Leinster, eh? Interesting too here when you see the way the guys have set up. Rob Russell has taken himself off the left wing, so you sense there's something going to happen here off this scrum. Again, it's one of the best attacking plays that you can have. You get that ball to the gain line, soft shoulder, softer pass, that element of danger. These are the risks sometimes that you've got to take if you want to score tries from these types of position off set piece.
Yeah, we see a shot there of Tom Connolly there, studying pharmacy at Trinity. Came actually through the Connaught pathway. So it's interesting. There's obviously the majority are Leinster pathways, but there are other ways to get through and make it in the professional game.
It's a tough school though, Stuart.
So St Michael's Finton gun feeds it, leaves it for his number 8, then gets it back, does Gunn. Prendergast, detector on the short line, but they're not going to get it back, because just like they've been for a couple of times this evening, they've been good at the breakdown, and I think that's their number 10, Aaron Egan. If that was him, I'm not quite sure. It was pretty impressive.
Very difficult for us to see from here, Stuart, but whoever it was very impressive. Excellent steal as Egan looks to clear his lines here, which he does very, very well.
Yeah, we held our mouth there. We thought Dylan O'Grady might have just kept that in.
Well, I love that type of extended touch find, I have to say, because invariably the ball is going to be kicked back to you, and it's something that I've spoken about before, but that was a brilliant touch find from Egan.
Lansdowne's Thompson goes to the front, and Colley to his number 10. Good hit, number 8 on 8. Sean O'Brien in there. Harry Noonan. Colley always looking to see if the defence are out of shape. Good pass. And there is the intercept. And Tector looking to go all the way. Malloy does so well. What a pick-up that is from Mangan, I think. Ball pops out loose. Pendergrass off balance, but does well. The Leinster A side come again. Brian Deeney, what a hard man to put down. And Gunn, Tector pulls it back. Pendergrass, one more. And I was sure, and so was Chris Cosgrave. How did he miss that one?
That is the breadbasket pass of all times, and Chris Cosgrove misses out on the most simplest of tries. I was going to say earlier, Tector looked to be through. Probably has the pace of his uncle, Heatley Tector, which wasn't very quick, but he's done extremely well. Very decent marshal of a game, Charlie Tector.
Leinster did very well there. They sucked the players in, come round the corner, Pendergrass into the line, in behind, and pretty unlucky there from Cosgrave, but it was smart playing, good rugby.
You know the way they talk, Stuart, about referee error? Do you think a player should be fined if he drops a breadbasket pass like that? 50% of your wages?
I don't think so, Hal. Because I dropped more than I caught. So I'd be bankrupt.
Yeah, but, like...
And speak to Tommy there, did he drop a few?
Never. You always pretend you didn't, but you always used to baffle me, that sort of thing, that we'll blame someone else, we'll talk to the lieutenant. So many opportunities a game in a rugby to score, but however, Chris Cosgrave on this occasion didn't do it.
So the try scorer for the Club 15, JJOD, comes from the pitch. You've been impressed with him.
I have. He's had a very good game tonight, JJOD, and he looked very much up for the fight this evening, and he can be pleased with his 76 minutes that he's had here for the Club 15.
So Club 15 on their own line. And what a platform Conal Boomer has just given them. And he wins a penalty for his team.
He's been good tonight, Boomer.
He's been absolutely outstanding tonight from the start. Recently it's been from the bench, but he's a real abrasive number 8. You know, he seems a smart footballer and seems to always beat the first tackler.
And then another great touch find from Egan. You've been impressed with him tonight.
Yeah, I have, and let's face it, he's been on the back foot as well, so that just shows he has done well. Because when you're behind a beaten pack as a 9 and 10, the old saying goes you're going to struggle. And a return to the pitch for Cormac Daly, the Clontarf man. So he'll come back on. Thompson, and off the top, not the best for Colley to deal with. He shovels it on to his replacement hooker, and he's left with no option. As Daniel Leanne and his teammates just fire him into touch. Not the sort of service you want as a scrum half.
There's always a lot of huffing and puffing in these situations. Where's the day of the honest-to-goodness punch gone? There's a lot of huffing and puffing goes on and whatnot. Like, the game has obviously got a lot more physical. Not that I'm advocating, you know, an uppercut or a slap across the jaw, but they were the things that, you know, I was used to in my era.
I think that's well and truly gone. As Leinster A go again, split sides. Boomer, what can't he do? He puts the kick across. O'Grady tidies it up after dropping the first ball. So Leinster deep inside their own 22. And again, any one-out runners, Club 15, they seem to be snaffling in there at the breakdown, getting the first man in.
Well, of course, there was isolation there, Stuart. And a very clear side entry picked up by Jenkinson, who's had a good game tonight.
Daly goes himself. Cawley. Well tackled is Luke Rigney from Shannon. I think we just need to be careful here, though. Never nice to see. Bit of a worried look.
End of season blues, it appears to be, Stuart. I think perhaps referee Jenkinson felt there was an element of danger there, and he very quickly blew up, which was quite wise. 80 minutes gone. Just pulling two boys out, settle things down. Just calm it down. Last seconds of this game. And no harm to do that.
Another man, Brandini, there chatting to the referee. Of course, has a good GA background. Wexford Wanderers as well, RFC. Played for Ireland 20s in the past, so like very impressed by him.
As a Southeast man, Stuart, I must correct you there, Wexford Wanderers, not the Wanderers. Just important, because Martin Fenton is listening and he will pull me up on it.
Always ready for his advice, Tommy. The only thing I know about Wexford Wanderers is they have a cricket team. I didn't realise they had a rugby team, Stuart, but there you are. I don't know whether you did. Tommy's always there to correct us.
Brian Deeney told me so. Cawley lets Boomer go. Loses his feeding. Does Conal Boomer. Does well in the end. Have Leinster sniffed that? No, they haven't. Daly, rather poor pass. McKee gets it. Will they go downfield? They will try to. And they get up to the halfway, do Leinster. It's turning into a wee bit scrappy.
Yes, a little bit scrappy towards the end, which is probably understandable. And again, perhaps a wee bit of advice for referee Jenkinson. No better time to say thanks very much. Move on. Let's finish with no calamities. As you say, Stuart, it's got a wee bit scrappy towards the end, but it's been decent fare so far.
Has indeed. Thompson. Ball just loses the grasp of Luke Rigney. I think it's still there in the purple jersey. Cawley goes short side. How well did Daly do? Somehow get that out of contact. And they try and go through the middle, but not like that. And away come Leinster. Rob Russell. But again, we're coming back to the initial error and the knock on from the Club 15. A few tired bodies out there.
Very tired bodies. So Tommy has informed us 2 minutes remaining in this match between Leinster A and the Club 15, and I hope all our viewers this evening have enjoyed the fare. We certainly have, Stuart, I think.
Have indeed. What have we got? 8 tries in total. Very, very enjoyable. You never know, we might just get one more off this set piece.
A 7-all second half as it stands.
Gunn just taking his time. Gets it from his number 8. Pendergast and Tector. The old Leinster loop. Not the greatest ball. Cosgrave back inside. But that's forward. As Dylan O'Grady tried to stride into space. Chris Cosgrave just forcing it a wee bit. do you think Leinster Academy manager Simon Broughton will have made of this? Great idea in total. What do you think he will have made of his team's performance?
I'd say he will be fairly happy, but not entirely happy. I would have thought they've been a little bit ragged in this second half.
Alan, it's your time now. I think I know who you're going to pick, but who would your man of the match for tonight be?
Well, I'm a little bit unsure.
What a line. Alex Malloy waited all night for that. He gets the pass away, but stumbles, but the bounce comes in from Justin Leonard. Lovely play from Alex Malloy. And you can see his face says it all. Great line from him. But just as we got interrupted, do you want to pick your man of the match?
Well, probably I waxed lyrical about him in the first half. Great feet, speed. Hasn't had a huge amount to do in the second half, but I think he's got a big future. And my man of the match is Rob Russell, a left winger for Leinster A. He's been electric throughout this game. It has been a scrappy affair in the second half. Hasn't had much to do, but what he did in the first half was so pleasing on the eye.
Yeah, a number of tries to his name tonight as well. Rob Russell, he's been a live wire with ball in hand, so fair play to him. You're Alan Lewis's man of the match. So will we see one last attack?
I hope so, Stuart. No, we're certainly not going to see that.
Not yet. A penalty at scrum time. And Boomer, just like he's done all night, goes himself. Maybe that was the wrong option. See what he was trying to do, but you mentioned early isolation, and the penalty comes.
It's a pity because he's had a big game, Boomer. He's played very, very well tonight at 8 for this Club 15, and he can be proud of his performance. Malloy at full back again has looked good. Egan at standoff, you've been very impressed with, as have I. And I think it's a measure of how good the AIL has been this season. I suppose that's the point of conjecture moving forward. You know, over a run of playing what I call playing rugby. Do this A team get enough rugby? That's the question.
Yeah, it is a good question. As McKee tries to go to the tail. Ooh. Tackle comes flying in on Luke Thompson. And big drive from Leinster. Tom Connolly at the heart of it. But there you go. That is that. In the end, Leinster A cruise to victory against this Club 15. Plenty of tries, but Leinster 38-14 winners. Your final assessment of tonight's game?
Well, I thought the first half was outstanding. Probably the Club 15 realistically gifted 3 of the 6 tries scored by Leinster A this evening, which is understandable. They haven't been together for too long. And Andy Wood probably has done a very good job with the Club 15, who played with a great degree of honest endeavour, but you'd have to say that the youngsters within the Leinster 15, they were just that bit sharper, they were ready, they were on the gain line, and they pounced at anything that was scraps and really were worthy winners this evening.
Well, thanks for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, and Tom, I'll leave the final words with you.
Thanks, Stuart. Thanks, Alan. It's been a pleasure as always to have you here as we finish out the club season. We got one last run out. I think we might need to go inside and have a quick coffee before we head off. But look, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And again, thank you to our sponsors and partners, Bank of Ireland and Energia Energy. That's it from Energia Park here in Donnybrook. It's been a comprehensive but entertaining 38 points to 14 win for Leinster A over Leinster AIL Select 15. Hopefully we see some more of these games in the future. I think, you know, it's been enjoyed by everybody at home. So with that, we'll close out tonight. Stay safe, mind yourselves, and we'll chat again soon.